get talking.
Yep. Okie dokie. I need fucking glasses. Okay. Sorry. Said the F word.
Demonetized.
Strike 3.
Get ready. Get set. It's the Project Ion Podcast with Kevin, Andy, Jim, and Kyle, bringing you opinions on life from a basement in Northwest Iowa.
Oh, come on.
I really don't think that a president can do much about that issue.
You are fake news.
Well, let's say it's a guy named Seats.
I'm making spaghetti.
Man, this shit whack, man.
When you gonna do a scam?
I want to save him until he goes through puberty.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Production value is through the roof. That's beautiful.
Got quite the staff working on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Interns.
Interns.
Yeah, we need to start a podcast academy or something.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Charter school
Yeah.
for podcasting.
Charter school. We get-
Charge through the nose for it.
Yeah.
Might as well.
And hold seminars and classes. Maybe
Might-
some professional development.
Might as well.
PD.
Mhm.
Might
Day.
as well. How is everybody tonight? Hanging in there?
Good to be back.
Word.
Well, back to been in freaking Humboldt a lot lately. A lot
Yeah.
of illness going on down there
Yeah.
for the pharmacists, and so they pull me in.
Oh.
Had an old lady take a header into a brick wall
Jeez.
right out front, and she comes in covered in blood, as it's a head wound, like they gush,
Is this the hospital?
And she said, I've been laying out there for 5 minutes, and it was that day where it was like minus 50 billion. Yeah. And then she comes in this week, and I was there again on Thursday, and she is black and blue from the top of her head, like to collarbone. You could
Jeez.
see black, blue, yellow, green. And she points at her cheek and she goes, I'm going to learn Chinese. She was turning yellow. Like, you're adorable. Like, damn, that was kind of racist.
Such a sweet old racist.
Oh, yeah. Just a beautiful, wonderful soul. She's doing well, though.
Yeah.
Update.
If you're over a certain age, though, man, you get a pass.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
It doesn't count.
'Cause, I mean, you're a different generation.
I was at my
so.
grandma's, and she I watched The Nutty Professor when that first came out.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Dolittle, one of those two. And she sat there, didn't say a damn word. Had dinner, and I popped in another VHS, and it was Camp Nowhere. But there was a preview for another Eddie Murphy movie. She goes, not another colored movie. And I go, Grandma.
Not another one.
She did pretty well the first hour and a half.
That's funny. All right. Well, do you want to dive right in? Is this the debate?
Sure.
Would that be considered fake news, or
I don't
I don't know? Maybe
it
not.
should be fake news.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's clips.
Okay. Well, we're just so happy to do
I see.
our segments that we might as
And I
well.
want you all to
Bust
know
them out.
that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake.
Phony.
Love it.
Kill all the phonies. Like J.D. Salinger.
Got it 6 times. So, did you guys watch it real time? Did you watch a replay? I watched
Real
a replay
time.
when I was sick.
I watched real time from beginning to end.
What do you guys think?
Man, it was
Just
good.
high level.
Oh man,
It was-
It was just a Bloomberg like
bashing.
bashing.
Yeah.
It was probably the greatest Democratic debate.
And you know, it's
This
a
year,
wet dream
for
of
sure.
Elizabeth Warren to have
yeah.
a billionaire on stage.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
just like, she's such the consumer advocacy
Yeah.
board and banking reform lady that she just was loaded up.
Yeah.
By the way, here's your party of diversity.
Yep.
Yeah.
A bunch of white people.
Old white. Oh, there's one young white
yeah,
person.
young-ish. But,
Young-ish.
This is Bloomberg's first debate.
First
I
debate.
guess? Yeah.
He wasn't even on the Nevada ballot.
Right.
He's not on anything till Super Tuesday.
Right.
But he showed up because the DNC changed the rules,
Yes.
and that allowed
Yeah.
him to be on the stage, which is another point of contention.
Yeah.
So is Super Tuesday a week
March
from this Tuesday?
3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe is the date.
Man,
Tune
March
in for
already.
special Project Ion
yeah.
coverage of Super Tuesday.
Coverage you won't get anywhere else.
That's right.
That's right.
The bare minimum, I will be here, not talking while it plays.
Klobuchar was really
stream.
bad.
Yes.
I thought she was really awful in this debate.
Yeah.
I don't
is
like
bad.
her after this one. And
I haven't. Just I've heard things like friends from Minnesota that don't like her because I've never really followed what she does, but it was all her talking about things. Well, we passed it, but then it didn't pass. Well, we got this bill written, but then it didn't pass. I'm like, okay, so you really haven't done anything.
right.
And then she almost started crying because Pete was mean to her at one point.
I
Yeah.
thought Pete was pretty strong overall through the
Yeah,
thing. Pretty level-headed, I thought.
he does. You can't really get under his skin.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like. So it would be interesting to see Pete v. Trump. I think that would be an interesting
Yeah.
Yeah.
debate.
Pete butt cheeks.
Alrighty, we
Sure,
ready?
Yeah, that's fine.
Biden had to do a little squat there.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against.
Oh,
A
yeah,
billionaire
classic.
who calls women fat broads and horse-faced.
What's the next word?
Keep going.
What's the next word? We've all heard it a million times.
I'm backing it up a little bit here.
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And
Hashtag.
I laughed out loud when I heard
I
that.
did too.
Liz.
The horse-faced lesbians was, and that was one I hadn't even heard that Bloomberg had said.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, she's not talking about Trump, huh? Okay.
That's what I hear.
no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
I actually
Only
welcomed Mayor
Rosie
Bloomberg
O'Donnell.
to the stage. I thought that he shouldn't be hiding behind his TV ads. I don't think you look at Donald Trump and say, we need someone richer in the White House.
Let's put forward somebody who actually lives and works in a middle-class neighborhood, in an industrial Midwest.
What's
Oh,
with
they're
all,
raising their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that throughout the whole thing, which
I hate
is
that.
silly.
teacher call on me?
Yeah. I got something to say.
Street City.
There was a couple times, and maybe it'll show this, but I kind of doubt it, that Biden, he does this 1,000-yard stare where he stares just above the camera like he's speaking to the nation. And there's a couple times he's doing the stare, and then you'll see him kind of shake a little bit. And then he'd raise his hand like he just remembered he was on stage, and then oh yeah, I should probably say something here. I was vice
Biden.
president once.
Oh,
you know?
Biden.
He's out of it.
Yeah, he's.
Let's put forward somebody who's actually a Democrat.
One thing that I'm really worried about, embarrassed about, was how it turned out with stop and frisk. It got out of control.
And it's not whether he apologized.
Did you guys hear? Did Bloomberg? Did he try to ban sodas or something
He did.
over
Big gulps.
Yes.
Yeah,
Over 20 ounces,
something like
you
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
you can't buy in New York.
Jeez.
Did
City.
that survive any
don't
kind of
know.
scrutiny, or
I don't know.
I would think that would get some sort of a legal challenge for being absurd. You know, like,
Object because it's dumb.
yeah, right. Well, seriously, I mean, come
mean,
on, that's
yeah.
that's got to be some kind of liberty interest that's getting.
There's
know,
just
'cause they
something
did
weird
it.
about him.
There was the other thing. They required all menus in New York City, if it was over X amount of sodium in a thing, to put a little salt warning on the menu.
Catering to the seniors.
Yeah.
Come on, Bloomberg.
Yeah.
And sodas.
Think about the boomers.
Come on, man.
Apologize or not, it's the policy. The policy was abhorrent, and it was, in fact, a violation of every right
I also
people
think
have.
Biden's
I
been
have
tanning.
no tolerance
Check that out.
for the kind of behavior that the Me Too movement has exposed. In my foundation, the person that runs it's a woman. 70% of the people there are women. In my company, lots and lots of women have big responsibilities. They get paid exactly the same as men.
And I hope you heard what his defense was. I've been nice to some women.
His face
Mr.
is
Mayor,
too-
are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
Nah.
How's
Nah, bruh.
how's Liz polling right now?
mediocre.
Yeah.
Is she? Where is she on
fourth or
the
something.
middle of the pack?
Yeah,
kind of.
fourth maybe.
Nevada's today. Last I checked,
Bernie was
Bernie
up
was up.
ridiculous, 52% with 3% of the vote in is all. But
Interesting.
Why do we think Bloomberg is here? Do we think he's been put up by the DNC?
I don't know. Because he wasn't, or even a registered Democrat till like 3 weeks ago.
He seems fairly moderate to me.
Yeah, I mean he's honestly like Trump. He floats on both depending on who is going to be best for his personal interest at the time.
Right.
And now he can run for president under Democrats, so he's going to do it. But I don't know who put him up to it. I mean, maybe he got bored. He's older than Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I bet if you make a big enough donation to the DNC that they'll throw a couple bones your way to give you some clicks and some views.
Yep. Well, and he's got such deep pockets, right?
Yeah.
He's been buying up TV ads all over the place.
He's like the third richest man in America.
Yeah.
Like
So.
63 billion or something.
We'll
like
see.
Stupid like that.
If you can just literally buy your way into the presidency.
Yep. And the other weird thing is, because he's completely self-funding.
Right.
Yes.
And actually doing it. Trump said he'd self-fund, and then no one thought he would. But,
No, yeah.
This guy, he'll write a check for $400 million
for crappy memes that Trump makes for free.
Oh, dude, those were so bad.
Oh.
Paying for the memes.
Learn to meme.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
There's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
And that's up to them.
We are not going to beat Donald Trump with a man who has who knows how many non-disclosure agreements and the drip, drip, drip of stories of women saying they have been harassed and discriminated against. That's not what we do as Democrats. Mr. Vice President.
Yes, there he is.
Pretty abrasive.
Oh my.
His hair's actually like combed though.
Yeah.
Oh, socialism.
I prefer
The
it when
second
it's,
word in his mouth.
doing the Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future routine.
There was a good meme of him and that
Great Scott, Marty.
Bernie should choose Pete, and they should run on like a Back to the Future platform.
That would be hilarious.
Of Doc and Marty McFly.
Just roll up in a DeLorean with they'd win.
Put some
100%.
Put some Nike mags on
for sure.
Pete and a little hoverboard.
For working people, not billionaires.
What a wonderful country we have. The best known socialist in the country happens to be a millionaire with 3 houses. What I miss here?
Well, you'll miss that I work in Washington, House 1.
That's the first problem.
Live in
That was
Burlington,
good.
House.
That was pretty good. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, this is him like stepping up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bloomberg, that is.
Too.
That's good.
And like thousands of other Vermonters, I do have a summer camp. Forgive me for that. Where is your home? Which tax haven do you have your home?
New York City, thank you very much. And I
You
pay
also
all
have
my
a home.
taxes. And I'm happy to do it because I get something for it.
And Mitch McConnell, I've been the object of his affection and the president's affection. The way he's gone after me, this new Republican Party.
The hand raising
Third
thing
grade?
is, it's awkward.
Yeah.
Because it's a shouting match anyways, so you might as well just like let down the floodgates and let them all scream at each other. Because
Wrong.
No,
God, I can't wait for those.
Wrong.
I can't wait for Trump v. somebody. I don't care who it is. It's just
any of these. It's gonna be gold.
It's my Super Bowl pretty much.
I kind of hope it's Warren because Trump is already at the point where he's calling her Pocahontas, and Trump doesn't go the other way, like back down. So he's only going to ratchet it up.
He only hits the throttle.
Yeah. So where do we go from Pocahontas?
Well, isn't Klobuchar, isn't she Snow Lady or Snow Woman or something? Blizzard Woman or something like that. Ice Queen. I can't remember what he called her.
Queen, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's Sleepy Joe, Crazy Bernie, Pocahontas,
Mini Mike.
Mini Mike. What was butt
Nothing.
cheeks?
Nothing for
butt
Pete,
cheeks.
yeah.
I don't think butt cheeks.
Well, it's the Mad Magazine character, right?
Oh, Alfred E. Newman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Snow
And he's just
Woman.
kind of ignoring Snow White over there.
Snow White. Maybe it was something like that. Because she declared her presidency in a snowstorm or something like that.
Oh, that's right. You're correct.
I can't remember. He had some
So it was
tweet.
already a year ago.
Yeah.
Damn it.
In a blizzard?
Yeah. Hashtag Esterville.
Esterville. Claim to fame.
After me, after my son, after my family. I don't need to be told I'm a friend of Mitch McConnell's. Mitch McConnell has been the biggest pain in my neck in a long, long time.
And that's what we are saying, Pete, is maybe it's a time for the working class of this country to have a little bit of power in Washington.
So the more riled up Bernie gets,
the more animated.
The hands come up. You know, and his jacket starts like creeping up over his head.
His fangs grow longer. Vampire Bernie. I want to suck your blood.
All right, look, first of all,
I know. And if there are a few people who make ugly remarks, who attack trade union leaders, I disown those people. They are not part of our movement.
But leadership is about what you draw out of people. It's about how you inspire people to act.
I have an idea of how we can stop sexism on the internet. We could nominate a woman for candidate.
Oh. How's that going to stop anything?
Because remember, racism died when we got a black president.
Oh, yeah.
Stop sexism on the internet? Is that what she said?
If you have a woman president, it goes away.
Automatically. Just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
I just really despise Klobuchar.
After
watching
under
this,
my skin.
just grating.
Yes.
Mayor Buttigieg really has a slogan that was thought up by his consultants to paper over a thin version of a plan that would leave millions of people unable to afford their health care. It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's
PowerPoint Pete. Yeah, Triple P.
That's hilarious.
It started here first, folks.
Oh, Peter.
You heard it here.
That's right.
like a Post-it note. Insert plan here.
This is bad.
Bernie.
I'm more of a Microsoft Word guy.
I must say I take personal offense since Post-it notes were invented in my state.
Still doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Objection, relevance.
Yeah.
Sustained counsel. Retract the question. Yeah, wow. Well, George Washington Carver went to, invented peanut butter. And
went to Iowa State. First Coke.
It's my alma mater,
Take that.
Yeah.
But you're staking your candidacy on your Washington experience. You're on the committee that oversees border security. You're on the committee that does trade. You're literally in part of the committee that's overseeing these things. And we're not able to speak to literally the first thing about the politics of the country to our south.
Are you trying to say that I'm dumb, or are you mocking me here, Pete?
I'm saying that you shouldn't trivialize
I made
that
an error. People sometimes forget names. He's basically saying that I don't have the experience to be president of the United States. I have passed over 100 bills as a lead Democrat since being in the U.S. Senate. I am the one, not you, that has won statewide in congressional district after congressional district.
But let's just be clear. Missing a name all by itself does not indicate that you do not understand.
No power.
And I just think this is unfair.
Any chance the girls will team up and...
Yeah, it's losing.
Klobuchar, I think Klobuchar would drag Warren down.
Yeah,
there was that. So they were yelling at Amy about forgetting the name of the president of Mexico.
Oh,
and then she had to look down at her notes before proving that she knew the president of Mexico.
Yeah,
and then said it wrong. And then she kept looking down at her notes and read a bunch of other leaders from other states so she could read.
Knew that question was good. That comment was coming.
The one thing that wasn't in that clip,
you can't look at your notes.
Yeah, from Bloomberg was, you guys think we're going to beat Donald Trump by overthrowing capitalism? That's why Donald Trump is going to win, basically.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I've seen a lot of, I've seen a lot within the last couple debates. There's a lot of pushback, real hard pushback against all these candidates besides Bernie of defending capitalism and specifically saying we're not going to win by electing a socialist. So I think that's a pretty hard or pretty big talking point with these guys, which is good to hear because it's scary.
Yeah, and it doesn't appeal to just average Americans.
Yeah.
Average Americans don't want socialism. Yeah. The radical loud people do.
I mean, the average American really likes a lot of socialism programs, though.
Socialist policies, but not
and
socialism.
Programs.
Yeah.
Correct. But I mean, he's not talking about an entire socialist economy.
No, and I don't think he is either, but that's the perception that he gives.
And when you call yourself a
democratic
socialist,
correct.
then a lot of people
But
get
I
rubbed
mean,
the wrong
even
way.
Pete messed up when he said, the best place to live the American dream is in Denmark.
Yeah.
Pete says this, and that's the exact policies that are being touted by the left, which, because Pete's stuff it's silly. His healthcare plan's ridiculous. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But that is a good point. None of them outright promote socialism over capitalism, but that's the perception that they give off.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps because of what Donald Trump does on Twitter and,
Well, and will continue to do because it is effective.
Yep.
I mean, if you spread that's because even right after this debate, I jumped on the old Facebook because, you got to see what people are saying.
Face bag.
And there's just tons of memes that says Bernie's he's proposing a 52% tax.
Yeah.
So if you make minimum wage at $15 an hour, it's like $32,000 a year, something like that he wants to take 52% of that. And which leaves you at about $7.50 an hour, which is minimum wage.
Yeah, funny how that works out.
That's not how taxes work. But if you put it out there, then the mouth breathers believe it. Like the people that don't do their taxes, well, I mean, they do them, but they, just take them to H&R Block and don't understand how it's actually done. They just get that they get a refund check.
Ooh, I get $5,000 back. Refund, a gift.
Yeah,
a gift from the government
that I gave them an interest-free
loan.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the key.
Oy vey.
Alrighty, so you guys ready to switch gears here?
Yeah.
Kevin was
Local
recently,
celebrity.
as a local celebrity. You had a TED Talk. What was it in
November?
November of 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they now finally, within the past 2-3 weeks or something, they got the video up.
Yep, and they're just kind of trickling out. I was the first one to go live, and they've been trickling. I think there's still a few left, but they're making the rounds.
And what was that delay? The delay was they had to get approved by the big dog.
Yeah, Big Ted, as we affectionately call him, has to bless all the videos that are put out on the official TEDx channels.
Wow,
sure.
Which seems to be a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
And I wasn't convinced that mine was going to get through the filters, but it did. Without issue. Then a couple others had some problems, mostly due to copyright stuff, but mine went through seamlessly.
Cool.
Thankfully.
Do you have anything to say about the experience that maybe you haven't talked about already? Or
it was a grueling process at the end of it. So we started last summer. It was when they put out a call for submissions, and they wanted a short little 5-minute spiel about what your topic was, who you are, you had to have a connection to the Great Lakes. That was about the only official requirement. And so that happened, and I think 55 submissions were made, and they picked maybe 13.
Okay.
I was the only technology submission.
Sure.
So I maybe got in by default, which is kind of cool.
We better have something with
I'll take it, because TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design.
Yeah.
Or something
Okay.
like that. So that was the T of TED, I guess, for that event. And then it was just getting the scripts written, getting them approved, doing coaching sessions, going to meetings, refining things, and that was all fine because I'm used to writing and presenting, but the memorization about the last 3 weeks is what killed me. Because mine is about a 10-minute presentation. It started out about 15 to 16 minutes, and I had to cut it down because of all the technical stuff I was saying. I just couldn't remember it.
Yep.
And so just by distilling it down to its basic parts.
And it's not you don't get slides to work with and demonstrate your stuff, right? It's
you do get slides, but they're
do.
not you can't. There's no notes on them. They're just purely for
visual
aids.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
There's no
what
note
PowerPoint
cards.
should be used for.
Right. Right. And when you're teaching, I always use my PowerPoints as an outline, but No, it
Fade
was
in, fade out.
no fades.
Man.
But yeah, we had a rehearsal day, and
Yep.
and that went fairly horribly for everyone. Pretty much everybody froze
I
during their
suppose,
rehearsal
yeah.
speech. So I guess why
was
you
it
do
the
it.
day
but-
before?
Yeah, the day before.
Any pants wetting or anything like that?
No major
Bummer.
catastrophes as far as that goes. The day of, there was a lot of audio issues.
Yeah.
I was number 2 in line, thank goodness, because if I had to wait until the end to give my speech, that would have been bad. Nerves.
Oh, yeah.
No good.
Sit around the whole day.
Yep.
Pacing in the hallway, waiting to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you ready to
Yeah,
dive
let's
in?
do it.
Alrighty.
I think it's just under 10 minutes.
It's 500 views.
Okoboji girl. Okoboji girl.
There he is.
Man spreading.
So
yeah,
you had to stand on the dot.
On the dot.
And you couldn't leave the dot. Is that
correct? And every event has to provide their own dot. And it has to be a certain color of red. And our first dot was not the correct shade of red, so we had to create a new dot.
Red Ted.
Yeah, pretty
Maybe
much.
Ted red.
It's like
Good
a
grief.
Pantone color that you have to get right.
And was this at the Art Center or
Yeah,
the Sammy?
Pearson.
Okay.
Pearson
Yep.
Art Center. And those letters, the TEDx Okoboji, that was created by the Spirit Lake High School
Oh, cool.
shop class. So that was
Nice.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
They did a really, really nice job. And there's a bunch of volunteers, obviously, the day of. But
Very cool.
Yeah.
You ever worry that you're actually living inside of the Matrix? That humanity is nothing more than a
Simulation, dude.
simulation controlled by a hyper-complex computer algorithm?
Yes.
Do you lose?
Did you see the audience like glaze over when you started saying algorithm and you know?
So that's a funny thing. Like
That's a buzzword.
I could hardly see anybody in the audience except for this one spotlight that was shining on Kat, Jesse Shepard, and a couple other people.
That's awesome.
So I knew exactly where not to look.
Right.
And you'll actually see them and me in the audience at one point. I'm both in the audience and on stage.
Oh, that's funny.
Try to catch it.
See, we are in the Matrix.
Exactly.
Point
That proves
proven.
it.
What the hell is going on here?
Sleep at night, wondering if Skynet is real?
Yeah.
Wondering if one day we'll all just be controlled by robots?
Don't leave the
Or
dot.
perhaps
Yeah.
you fear that resistance is futile, that sometime in the not-so-distant future, we will all become the Borg.
I don't know what most of that means.
I
Kat
laughed
pretty
at
much
that.
pretty much wrote that
That's
all.
Dune, right?
The Borg is Star Trek.
Yeah.
Star Trek,
reference.
okay.
Yeah.
What was Dune?
Oh God, Dune the
The,
epic.
That's a good
I'll
question.
think about it. The Metaths. Mintaths?
I don't.
Something like that.
People tend to be both naturally excited about and fearful of technology, and for good reason. Technology offers us worlds of imagination, innovation, and oftentimes relief from the tedium that is survival. It also comes with it some very real concerns about personal security and new questions of morality. When I was young, I entered a contest on the Nickelodeon television network for kids. You called a phone number and had your name entered into a drawing to win a virtual Mortal Kombat fighting experience.
I think it's sweet.
The experience offered the opportunity to stand on a small
So
sensing...
what's that story?
So yeah, and actually, I was watching YouTube, just browsing YouTube videos the other day, and I came across that thing that I was referring to, and I had not
Was
seen
that-
it since then.
Was that the headband thing we used to have?
No, that was the R Zone.
Oh,
okay.
God,
It's
I
just
remember
the worst
those.
console of all
Oh,
time.
Our
man.
zone.
But
Yeah,
this
that was pretty
thing, this was a sensing pad, and basically all it did was map your movements to controller inputs. So if you wanted to punch, you like stomp on a button.
okay.
And it basically was a Street Fighter thing that you played. Just remapping inputs.
Yep.
But pretty basic.
pad and have your motion tracked as you fought against a virtually controlled AI opponent. This was 25 years ago. We were just getting the original Nintendo, think Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, into the mainstream. And yet, the media was getting us all excited about this virtual fighting thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Computers are really good at a lot of cool stuff. Pathfinding is a great example of this, or in other words, how to calculate the most efficient route from point A to point B. If this reminds you of GPS, you'd be correct. GPS is a reasonably good example of modern-day technology done well, assuming that the driver is somewhat conscious and that the map data is up to date. I had to include the first caveat because I remember an old episode of The Office where office manager...
Can you pause it? Did they add this? Because when I watched this TEDx, or the first video, I don't remember showing the actual clip from The Office.
No, that's been up there.
Has
since,
it? Okay, maybe
I
was just
it.
Not paying attention close enough.
That was one thing that I didn't know if they would get through the TED filters.
Yeah,
oh, sure.
It's just a crappy GIF, so
right.
And you provide attribution at the bottom, so it's apparently not a problem. But I was always told if you can throw in some Office references, you'll get a laugh. So
yeah,
it seemed to work.
Everybody loves The Office.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Scott drives his car into a lake because the GPS lady told him to do it. Common sense goes a long ways. Computers are really good at doing repetitive things very quickly. Computer brains, after all, are nothing more than complex sequences of ones and zeros, or binary, in the computer science world. Because of this fact, it's interesting to note that the most common operation or most common thing to do in all of computer programming is simply adding 1 to a number. Easy, right?
That was pretty shocking to me when I first learned that.
Yeah.
But like, anytime you make a Facebook post, anytime you do anything online, you're adding 1 to something. And like adding 1 to a number is all computers fundamentally know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had a professor tell me that fact one time. I thought,
yeah,
really? Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Pretty wild when you think about, like, you know, the way it manifests, I guess. Or
yeah.
You watching a video or see a post or something like that to break it down to what, like the atomic level or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
you can build so much on top of it.
Yep.
I'll save my comment till we get to the programming part of this.
These days, computers are really good at serving up fake news. Russian bot farms can simulate clicks and fake traffic. Clever code and crafty design can lead you to believe you're logging into something that looks like Amazon.com, but is actually a rather impressive imposter. The technology companies
that was pretty
seem
poetic.
to be benign.
Yeah.
I struggle with that line a lot.
And in pledge to do no evil, but a simple search for...
Do you guys know where that
Hillary
came from? Do no evil. You know whose slogan that was?
Mm-mm. It was Google.
Yeah, that was Google's.
It was Google's original company, mantra.
Yeah, and then they dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Do some evil.
Realized they were doing evil.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do some evil.
Yeah. 10% evil.
10% evil. And tax the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Charles Manson was nice most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
It's 1%.
Emails or Trump's emails will show us what the autocomplete algorithms think of these political figures.
I almost said do a Google search, but then I just said do a search because I didn't think Google
Smart.
would like it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Give it a
you look
goog.
like Dad in that still.
I thought so
Holy
too.
crap.
Yeah.
You look just like Tom.
Well, you are related, so I'm not surprised.
Algorithm is a word that's thrown around a lot these days, but in its most basic definition, an algorithm is nothing more than a series of steps used to complete a task or solve a problem. An algorithm could be as simple as washing your hair in the morning to as complex as the GPS pathfinding we just talked about. It's really, really important to remember, though, that algorithms are not magical. There's nothing supernatural about them. In technology, algorithms are just computer programs. And these programs are written by humans, and humans can have bias. And either consciously or subconsciously, this bias can work its way into the code that we write. Computers are dumb, after all. They're inanimate pieces of hardware and require human brains to bring them to life. Truth be...
How many times did you think you rehearsed this? Like 100 plus, maybe,
At least 100 times.
Yeah,
probably a lot more than that.
Could you give it still? Do you think? If
no,
yeah.
I chose to forget it. Like when it was all done, I just did not care.
Yeah, I bet.
Like for probably 4 weeks, that's all that was going through my head pretty much all day was this speech. And that is not an experience I want to have again.
Yeah.
I would not do it again. I'd recommend people do it, but I wouldn't do it again.
I could sympathize. When I was studying for the bar, a lot of it is just how good you are at rote memory,
right?
And whether or not you can pull this stuff up and just barf it back out in some way. And I mean, I retained quite a bit from it, I guess. It like sunk in on some level, but there's just a tremendous amount of stuff that I completely forgot.
Right.
Like I have a basic idea of it, and I could know where to go look it up or something.
Look it
but
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could. It is not learned. That's for sure.
Be told technology can fail us in some of the most basic day-to-day tasks. If I said right now, for example, hey, SIRI, many of the phones in your pockets would spring to life and await my next command.
Hey, pause. I think I'm right there. See Shepard right there?
Here's
I'm
Shep,
right? Next
right?
to him.
And then,
Oh, yeah.
So they cut in a clip from a different
somebody else
later. Yeah.
Exactly.
So did that line not get a laugh originally?
I think it did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Because, I mean, if you got a bigger laugh than what they accredited you here, I'd be pissed.
Right?
Fake news.
Yeah. Very fake.
It's very fake.
Most modern-day digital assistants are not clever enough to accurately distinguish between two voices that sound similar. And who hasn't had the situation where you've just made a purchase on a website like Amazon only to have that exact same product be advertised to you on a social media website like
Okay, so I have a weird, and we've probably all experienced this too. The other day, Kelly was talking about making French toast for breakfast. And we're like, God, what do we mix together and all this stuff? And I pull up Google and I type the word how, and it pulls up how to make French toast. Like, that's my recommended search.
Yeah.
That freaked us out.
Yeah, it's listening to you, man.
I mean, is it real? Am I just not?
It has to. So do you have on your phone like
Allow microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to listen to it. It has to listen all the time because it has to listen for that trigger word to turn it on.
Right.
So my phone is sitting here listening to all the words we're saying. It may or may not be doing anything with those words until we say the keyword, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it'll send that phrase that I say off to the server somewhere where it processes it and sends it back.
The mic is hot all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always on.
Yeah, and it's the same with every Alexa,
Yeah.
every Google Home,
But-
every Nest Mini.
So I don't know. I have a hard time believing that this phone isn't doing something with the words we say, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't have recognized I wanted to search for how to make French toast.
Yeah. And ultimately, we don't know, and the only people that do know are Google.
Yeah.
Our overlords.
Exactly. I listened to an interview with somebody who was pretty high up at Amazon, who worked with like Alexa products and stuff like that, those digital assistants. And he said if he's doing extremely personal things, read into that what you will, he will turn off or unplug like
Sex stuff.
Yeah.
like physically disable those devices because he doesn't want them listening.
Yeah. Sure.
So, I mean, what does that say about this stuff? And this says something about open source software, which is software that has its code available for anybody to look at and see exactly what's going on under the hood. Yeah, exactly. But things like Google and Amazon, they don't make their code open source, so we don't actually know. It's kind of like with the big fiasco in Iowa with that app that they were using.
Oh, the
Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow.
Yeah.
And like that was just some random app, I think, that they found and maybe thought it would be useful, and nobody reviewed the source code.
Wow.
Well, it
wasn't tested, I don't think.
Right.
Well, and the guy was like a Clinton dude. Like, so he got the contract because cronies.
Facebook or Twitter. If I could get a little bit more technical, in the world of computer science, there's a category of problems that have been proven to be difficult for computers to solve. By proven to be difficult, I mean that it will take a computer a long time to solve the problem, and in fact may never actually solve it. One such example of this type of problem is called the traveling salesman problem. It's a situation where you have a salesman that needs to visit various cities connected by roads of various lengths. The goal is to have the salesman visit each of the cities and return back to the starting city in the most efficient manner possible. This is also very similar, but not exactly the same as the GPS pathfinding example. The only known solution to this problem involves an algorithm that scales exponentially over time.
This, by the way, is computer science right here.
Right.
This is like the heart of what computer science is.
The theory.
Yes, and how fast things run if they're scaled over time.
Right.
Not scratch programming, not drag and drop. That's not even a start. It's not.
It's a regression.
It's a regression.
No, that's
Here's an example of what it looks like to grow exponentially.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I'm getting lost here, Kevin.
Oh, no. Lines and numbers.
Limit as x approaches infinity.
To be fair, Kevin, there's only one real number.
Right?
Yeah.
Touche. Because that's an O.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah. Right.
You'll notice how quickly the graph grows vertically, or the time it takes to solve the problem, compared to how slowly it grows horizontally, or based on the size of the input or how many cities the salesman needs.
There had to have been some glazing in the audience at this point.
Yeah, I would imagine. And the one thing I heard was, Kevin, you stepped right up to the edge of it, and then you backed off. Like, if I would have kept going on this point, people would have just checked out.
Yeah.
But I tried to go up to a point and then back off, and then go up to a point and back off.
Yeah, tease him a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to get a little bit nerdy.
Yeah. Needs to travel to. In computer science, this type of problem has a rather fancy name. It's called an NP-hard, or non-deterministic polynomially hard problem, if you'd like to impress your friends. While the previous examples are frustrating, they're generally not life-threatening. Sure, losing your entire TEDx talk outline due to a failed hard drive is really frustrating, but it won't kill you. What has me and many others concerned is when real-world physical, tangible danger becomes involved. What I'm getting at here is the constant, incessant push for self-driving cars.
You got something. Self-driving cars is your trigger, I think.
I think so.
It's
dangerous.
We got Democrats.
Impossible.
We got
self-driving
taxes.
cars.
We got whatever. Kevy's got self-driving cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
A complete disaster.
Not only is this a challenge technologically, but programming morality also becomes a factor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine the following scenario, where you have a self-driving car that finds itself in a situation where it has to collide with one of two people. Which person should the car decide it's going to collide with and ultimately end the life of? Should it automatically select the person who looks older because that person is closer to death anyway? Morbid, I know. What if race or gender becomes a factor because of the latent implicit racism or bigotry that a programmer might have?
So that appeases the TED gods because you're talking about racism and bigotry, which is like all
implicit racism.
Well, I mean, that's a great point because ultimately it is the programmer. It's programmers. There's an army, I'm sure, but.
And the media talks about algorithms like there's no human involvement whatsoever.
Right.
Like they're just some magical thing.
Put it into an AI and it spits out.
Yeah, exactly. But those things are tuned and trained by people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you've got like Nathan Bedford Forrest and Heinrich Hilmer, and, some of these other types doing your programming, who's going to get run over?
Right. If you're training facial recognition software for like a speeding ticket, like a camera on a stoplight to give people speeding tickets, identify you by your face, and you feed it just African American faces, what do you think they're going to trend towards giving more tickets to?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All of these questions get into larger, more philosophical implications that we haven't even really figured out yet as humans, let alone try to tell a computer program what to do. To put all this into perspective, here's a small...
I really enjoyed this part.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I didn't know if it would be way too...
code.
You should have just... I mean, I don't know what that means. Get it out of here.
We got a drop.
Hey, where's my drag and drop?
Drag and drop.
Make the cat move.
Pretty pictures.
Sample of code. I don't expect you to understand it. It is 15 or so lines of real-world code. You could type that into a computer and have it produce some output.
Java,
it's used to sort a small list of numbers.
There's just C.
There's nothing
either
C++
ascending or descending. In computer science, it has a not very fancy name. It's called bubble sort. It is actually a really horrible way to sort a large amount of data quickly. This code makes several assumptions of the programmer writing it. It assumes that the programmer has no spelling errors. It assumes that he or she has formatted and structured the code properly, has made no syntax.
He or she.
Yeah. I had to appease the TED god.
Yep. I'm surprised they didn't make you just say they.
Yeah, right.
Practical errors and knows how to swap the value of two numbers. And perhaps most importantly, it assumes that the input to this program is 5 integers, 5 positive or negative whole numbers, not 4 numbers, not 6, not decimals, fractions, letters, words, or symbols, 5 integers. Oddly specific, yes. One error in logic will render this code to be completely useless. One typo will bring this program crashing down, and all it does is sort numbers. Use your imaginations to think about how much more infinitely complex something like a self-driving car is. To the person who's worried that AI will one...
Should we go full screen here for the audience?
Yeah. No butt sweat there.
No, sir.
Pretty brave wearing khakis and a colored shirt.
Oh.
I would have been drenched.
Swamping.
Yeah. Swamping.
The grimmest
Huge
swamp.
pit stains. Oh,
When they
man.
take over the world and leave us all without jobs, relax.
I wasn't expecting a laugh there.
Yeah?
Saying that we're not going to all be out of a job by automation. Like, I don't know why people laughed at that. Interesting face.
Long way off from that reality, and I would argue that we'll never actually get there, despite what the media may have you believe.
Yeah, Elon disagrees, I think.
Oh, yep.
To the person who wants to use computers and technology and push this stuff to its absolute limit to solve real-world problems, relax. We can and are doing this, and we'll continue to use computers and technology to do what it's good at doing and backing off where it's not. In closing, my friends, I'd leave you with the following thought. Don't fear the machine. Fear us as humans. Thank you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So what do you think an Elon or somebody like that would try to argue against the position you presented?
It's a good question.
Let's call him up.
Yeah, get him on the show. We'll have a live debate.
At him.
Yeah, at Elon.
At Elon.
I mean, but I don't expect you to read a mind or anything, but if you had to venture to guess, what do you think they would say? That it is possible that they'd be able to come up with enough?
Well, yeah.
They'd show me a demo probably of what they're currently doing, and I would probably come back and say, yes, this is a great demo specific to this exact scenario, this exact circumstance, but generally speaking, I can't, like, there's too many variables involved. And there's morality issues, like stuff that you can't program.
Yeah.
And I think that's the huge argument, right? Because, I mean, there already is self-driving cars. They've driven millions and millions of miles around California with a much lower crash rate.
Yeah.
But have they hit those incredibly, those are rare events, where you have to choose between one person or another, where you have to choose between driving off a cliff or hitting a bus full of kids.
I mean, they're rare events for non-self-driving cars.
Right. Correct.
So,
but it is still a possibility.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's where the argument would be is towards the statistical probability of it. At least that's where the guys down at the lab in Iowa at NADS would take it.
And the legality, like, that's something I'd be interested in hearing from you.
Yeah.
About, which is like insurance, where all the other.
That would be a. Well, yeah, I guess the insurance people, I suppose, they're in the business of risk assessment,
right?
And really, that's what it's all about. So, I mean, I guess if you start to imagine a landscape where everybody's got a driving car, and then they can say, okay, we run into one of these where it's like a drive off a cliff or hit a bus full of kids scenario, X percentage, then you calculate your risk pool based off the information that you have. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see somebody that would know more about that. But
you said something important there, which is every car.
Right.
Like, if that's how it was, then I would be singing a slightly different tune. But
because then they'd communicate.
Yeah, and you'd have so many knowns as opposed to this many unknowns. We have a mixed sort of transportation model.
Right.
And I've even seen like automated long haul truck driving scenarios where you still have to have a person in the truck to monitor. And just take over if something goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, and that's like they have a Volvo that has the super advanced cruise control, they call it. So it's got the adaptive cruise control that reads 2 cars ahead of you. So it adjusts to the person ahead of you to keep you at a safe distance. It has the lane keeping assistance.
That stuff. Have you guys ever used that?
Avoidance. What's that?
Have you ever used the lane assistance?
Yeah.
I cannot stand it.
I drove the Volvo.
Ugh.
Well, this one just does it.
Yeah.
You put that on and it keeps you in between the lanes. It doesn't have the lights that keep dinging at you. Because that's, what do they call that too? Warning fatigue. Alert fatigue.
Yeah.
Where you just don't see it then because it's so damn annoying.
Yeah. Too much at once.
Yep.
Interesting presentation.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it was very good.
I was glad to watch it. I
was glad to.
I watched it a time or two
it.
already, but I'm glad to see it again and
thank you.
have running commentary right from the source. So,
so is this something that they're gonna? Is this something that they continue? Like, is this an Okoboji going to do it again?
So let me do my advertisement, which is we need to get an insane amount of views on any one of the videos, and I think it's like 10,000 views or something on one of the videos, mine or whoever else.
Sure.
It'll probably be somebody else who has a bigger network than me, like Tom Bedell. But yeah, if we cross that threshold, then we get to have it again next year, but at a bigger level. So we're only able to sell 100 tickets.
Right.
And they went fast, and so it would have been nice to offer more. But if we make that threshold, then we get to go to like TED level 2 or something and open it up to more people.
Have it at like the Sammy Center or Iowa Lakes.
Exactly. Somewhere with more seats probably. But if we don't make that, then it's still going to be capped at 100. So I think they're going to plan on doing it regardless.
It's
just at what level it is.
That's interesting. I didn't know there were that many rules.
There are tons of rules. And I wasn't the organizer of it. Like, I can't imagine how many regulations go behind the scenes.
Like dealing with the government.
Talk about
like how awesome he is.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we used to get a Christmas card, or my parents did get a Christmas card from Tom, but
Tom and Bucky.
He cut us off. Yeah,
Dad and Mom used to always go to their house.
Yeah. Well, that was true. Yeah, Mom knew Tom's ex-wife fairly well, and even tutored one of like Wei Ming's nephews or something that came over from wherever, and so
I think I met Bucky once.
Bucky and Ren and God, what's the youngest son's name? I can't. He's so much younger it escapes me, but Bucky was something else.
Yeah.
So go check out the videos. Spread them around so we can do it again next
share,
year.
all that good
Smash
stuff.
that bell, whatever they say.
Is there any good comments on yours yet?
No comments yet.
Bummer.
No dislikes.
We'll have to leave one.
Yeah.
Good job. Love the podcast.
Thank you, Project Ion.
Yep.
Official endorsement.
Yeah.
So what should we move on to next year, boys? Well, we're in the code theme, so.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about real coding.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Kevin's like, okay.
Chomping at the bit.
Teacher, speaker.
Didn't we have a slide for this or something?
Oh. I guess. Oh, God. What's going on
Transition.
Here?
Oh, man.
Yep.
Look at that sneaky Pete.
It's a collaboration education segment situation.
Check out. Did you see the slide for it?
Yeah, he probably couldn't see it from his
see
angle.
it, but-
That's all right. Watch it later on the replay.
It's great.
You guys should check out Gavin McGinnis does a TED Talk on collaboration and teamwork, and he just rails it. It's freaking awesome. I loved every minute of it.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he made good points. It's like, some of the most famous scientists they had people that worked under them, but they made the discoveries. They did the work. It's not like we had to sit in a frickin' meeting and decide how apples fall from trees,
How about pods? Are you into pods at all?
Yeah, pod thinking.
So I did pods this year for...
Of course you did.
No, listen. I did pods this year for... Oh, man. half of a quarter, so midterm of a quarter.
So
I got
1/8.
Yeah.
My math is
for the layman out there. I'm just trying. We don't think like that. We think in quarters and semesters in school, but
it's roughly a month too.
Yeah, and I got so sick of it. I just Friday, so yesterday, I switched back to traditional rows. I couldn't stand it.
Why?
Did the children like the pods?
No, it's just we don't use it. It's just I looked around. I'm like, I'm just trying to appease, the buzzword of pods and collaboration.
Don't
We're
feed
not
the
really
troll.
doing it. And if I'm not doing it, I can, there's space wise, it makes more sense in my classroom just to go to rows. So I decided the executive decision.
So who is this Brian Aspirin character or whatever his
I don't
name
know.
is?
You guys seem to know more about him than I do.
We did some deep dives.
Yeah.
I heard you. I mean,
abstaining.
he was an invited guest speaker
Yep.
that you attended.
I did go. Yep.
Learned.
Bribed to go? Perhaps.
Was there a monetary incentive?
There was.
Not according to Facebook. You wouldn't know it.
No.
No.
Everybody went.
They chose to give up their day off to better themselves, and so they can incorporate and integrate
I was curious.
technology
Not gonna lie.
into their curricula.
I was curious.
Excellent.
I'm now if
You pull it together. There we go.
I will say if there wasn't a monetary stipend, I wouldn't
Compensation.
have went. But
So
I'm not gonna say I was totally like against going. I mean, I had some interest in seeing this guy. So
I mean, how is this guy not an MLM? Look at his.
Right.
There is 4 links to his Twitter, Insta,
Oh,
Indeed,
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Smash those subscribes.
Holy cow.
Yep.
So
He's got all
this is one of his websites.
Okay.
He's also got swag.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Can you get a T-shirt?
Look at not secure.
Let's get Kyle a
That's good.
T-shirt.
Squad
goals.
Nice.
Oh, they're so cute.
How much is this stuff?
I don't know. I want to buy one
Sign
for
me
Kyle,
up,
though.
man.
The reason. Oh no,
Yep.
where are we going?
I-
Doc to PDF. It went to a junk site.
Yeah, it did.
you can't even buy
This
it.
guy can't even.
Getting sketchy.
He can't even program his own site.
So that's why I came to the site, is I wanted to see examples of code he's written, and it just goes to spam. Everything.
So what if you had to summarize? What's this guy's presentation like?
Risk taker.
Well, okay, so he was very good at appealing to lower elementary teachers because I
Okay.
can see some. Or if I was teaching elementary school, there I could take away a lot from what he had to offer because he did. I mean, he did show us some examples and some tools of some higher level critical thinking gadgets that you can use in the classroom and
Like what?
like I don't know, there's like a thing like a switchboard called Makey. It kind of goes into I know. It kind of goes into circuits and I'm speaking as an elementary educator here, okay? I know all of us aren't going to be interested in that, but it's just I don't know.
So that was sort of what it was geared for. Is that
Yes.
that age group?
That
was
age group, yeah.
The like so kindergarten through what?
Kindergarten probably through I would say 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I to be honest, I don't think anyone advertised him for for the expectation that he would provide a lot for high school teachers.
Okay.
I mean, and that's not his area of expertise, I
Sure.
don't think. So it's not fair to say that I was miserable there because, I went into it knowing that there's probably not going to be a whole lot for me. Maybe if I get a couple things and that's fine. But I think overall, like I said, if I was an elementary teacher, I probably would have been a little more...
Yeah.
A little more plugged in.
Yeah, plugged in, yeah. But
what's his curriculum? What's his CV look like?
Yeah, click on the CV.
What? Oh.
A totally different website.
blog.
Click on like about.
Okay.
And find a link. I don't know. Click on anything.
Teacher, learner, thinker, author, problem solver, coder.
Look at his
Order
book.
now. You can order now from his CV. I gotta add in a shopping link on my CV.
What's a CV? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's like a resume.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah, this guy. So his story is he's a teacher, but then he got into authoring books, and now he kind
He
of
said his undergrad was in computer science.
That's not what his undergrad was. I know.
Oh, you do?
It was IT, I think. It wasn't computer science.
So it could be just like a 2-year thing.
Yeah, maybe.
And then I think he taught for a little while in Canada, and now I think this is just what he
now
does.
He is
Canadian.
Just raking.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a bad gig.
No, man. Snake oil was quite profitable for a while too.
Yeah,
like speaking.
Oh man, he looks like an evangelical,
yeah,
TV preacher there.
Cool.
Delivered keynotes, panel discussion, workshop, webinars,
But
PD.
He gave a TED talk too.
Okay.
He's hitting it at the right time though, because this computer
Yep.
thing is so big now. This programming and
riding the wave.
and kudos to him. I mean,
Should we send him a message?
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Seeds. Well, I think he's got another website here, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Vin. Okay.
Oh,
same
thing.
Goodness.
That's the CV, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps he's up there. I was getting links to Cialis.
Yeah, I got that when we were tossing this around the other day. Got the boner pills page.
I don't know. I've got the controversial opinion now that computer science is not necessary for elementary and high school.
Oh, I agree.
students.
I think there's some merit in teaching it in high school.
I don't.
I think like intro to Python or intro.
That's not really computers. Like that's just teaching a programming language, and you can do that from a book. Like just you don't. From where I am right now, it's like more important to learn the math behind the scenes or like the physics behind the scenes than it is to learn how to use the programming language. It's like teaching a class on how to use microscopes. The science is what matters. The microscopes come.
Just a tool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like the programming language, I've learned this after a long time, is just a tool that you use to solve a problem.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use many different languages to solve many different problems. And so that's if you're in the industry for any amount of time, the language just becomes like, okay, I got to learn this new language to solve this problem. It's like the problem solving really is what matters.
Yeah.
So did this guy create this like skin or this program you guys were using with the drag and drop or?
No, that's
an MIT.
MIT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what's that? Scratch? Is that what
Yeah,
that's
why don't
called?
you? Can you go to that?
Sure.
It's scratch.mit.edu, I think.
Scratch.
We used to use this in my
MIT.
Yep. .edu.
summer
Is
STEM
it?
camp.
Yep. And I can kind of, I've been defending this Aspinall guy a little bit, so now I can criticize a little bit too. Go to Create.
Okie dokie.
I think I've got an account on here.
Yeah, I do too.
Come on, Scratch.
So we're gonna be coders.
Oh yeah.
And that's
If it
kind of
ever-
what I have a bone to pick with.
Yeah, if it ever loads.
There we go. All right, so exit out of that green box.
Right here.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Find a job. All right, and
Doing
just drag a
coding.
couple things over. Drag a couple things, make it snap together. There you go. And
Oh,
maybe
man.
one more. Okay. So at this point,
We're programming, right?
Yeah, and that's I think, and I would assume, Kevin, that's probably what you're most frustrated with too, is kids do this and they think they can go home and make a computer game or something like that, or they'll be the next
Yeah.
computer
Make a new
programmer.
app? Can they make an app?
Yeah. And what I was really concerned with when we did this part at the presentation was this took probably about an hour. We made this cat do something, and he talked about how you can use it for math, like XY coordinates and geometry and all that stuff, which is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But then, and this is what really, really made me kind of grind my teeth, is he said, well, now to actually see the real code behind it, you go to, where's the script at on this? Where does it say? Where can you find the script?
I wasn't aware there was a script feature.
Yeah, you can see it. Scroll.
Maybe. File.
No. Oh, maybe. Yeah, go to file.
Oh,
no.
Just dismiss Spurge. Oh, maybe he's right.
You're not a true coder.
Dick.
Well, okay.
Code.
Yeah, go to there. Go.
Code.
We're coding.
Man, this is bad though that we can't even see the actual script behind
Well,
it.
how do I make it do all this crap?
Click
that
on
I
move 10 steps. That the top of that stack. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think it's misleading. I guess is my big problem.
Yeah.
Dude, you're coding.
Whoa.
Look at you.
Damn.
You'd be working.
Watch
at
out,
Google in no time.
Zuckerberg. Here I come.
Oh, maybe it was a different thing. Okay, you guys keep talking. Give me a second. I gotta look.
Can we transparently see how much money this dude got paid to talk to you guys?
That's what I
I
want.
don't think we'll ever know.
Doesn't matter. It's just grant money.
Yeah.
Meaning you can
Yes.
throw it away.
I heard that
cares?
line. I was
It's grant money. They all need iPods.
Yeah.
Let's get them all iPods.
because, well, we all know that grant money just falls from the sky.
It's free.
And it's free. And if you don't use it, then it evaporates. So
just like government funding.
Try this, Jim. Go to makecode.com.
Okay. Different tab? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
This was another thing that he showed us.
Makecode.com.
And there's these little, click on the microbit.
Right here.
Yeah. These are like these little microbits, I guess, that when you, quote unquote, hard quotes, program them, they do something. And it's just connected to a USB. Click on new project.
This is some Matrix stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on here, man?
Just let it. Be patient.
I don't have time to wait to code.
Okay,
man.
here we go. All right. So go to basic.
Okay.
Yep. And just drag some stuff over. This was where I was getting at. Yeah.
Same
Keep
stuff?
going. Yep. Whatever. Connect it all together like you did in Scratch, though.
Like,
yep.
those two?
And
Do I need these things
do
too?
Those. Just
how do I have to connect them to the thing, or
connect the ones you just did into the blue ones?
I'm getting depressed.
Like that?
No.
I don't know what you
Whatever,
mean.
it's fine. Okay. Now, at this point, we were like, all right, yeah, it's kind of just like Scratch and all that stuff. But go up to where it says JavaScript.
Okay, where?
Yep,
here?
right there. Okay. There you can actually see what the
lines
program
are,
is doing. And this is what floored me. All the teachers were having a great time building their blocks and watching their little microbit flash and stuff.
Great.
And then he mentioned now to actually see the script, blah 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 blah. Click on JavaScript, and this was the only part where we showed actual code throughout the entire day. There was an audible groan from the teachers in the room when they saw that.
We don't get to play.
What the hell do you think this stuff is?
Yeah, that's what really bothered me. And
they want to play with their bits.
Yeah.
Here, let's go back to the fun part. There we go.
Learning's for
Much
suckers.
better.
Yeah. So.
Yay!
Yeah. That's kind of what really frustrated me too. Is because I was looking for that, and you made I guess we kind of found out that it's not in Scratch, which is kind of the leading, kids thing or whatever, kids program to do this stuff, and you can't even see the real code in Scratch. So,
well, there you go.
Man, look at all this code.
Woo. Basic.show number.
Heavy coding.
Yeah.
Okay, so execute.
I don't think it'll do anything.
Oh. Well.
No, it won't do anything.
So how are you supposed to use this in chemistry? Because it makes
no, you don't.
So this is like teaching adults to play basketball using a kiddie hoop. Like that wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't do that. So why are we teaching people teaching adults to code using these
I can see
play tools.
You know, I could see maybe like a critical thinking type of course, or where you have to follow algorithms or sequence. Maybe if you're teaching sequence, this would be a good tool, and Scratch would be a good tool. But I don't know. I really struggle with calling that programming.
Yeah, it's following a step-by-step procedure. It's not programming. You can do that on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So, okay, Kyle, if realistically, could you see this being used in a class for more than like one day or something? Or
this program?
Well, you know what I mean, like some of this
okay,
easy stuff here.
Oh, no,
you know, like
no,
we're gonna do.
It'd be a station.
There's like here's one single concept that
it'd be great for kids who like 7th, 8th graders who love computers and stuff to fiddle around with this, maybe at recess or something like that. But if you don't have kids that can read or do math, algebra, I don't know. That kind of segues to where I'm at in my physics class right now. I have Mark Gruel coming in twice a month, and then I do it every other Friday where we teach Python tailored to what we're doing in physics class right now. And Python is just a language. But he does an awesome job. Mark does. Kind of teaching, like Kevin said, the conceptual stuff behind Python and what the computer is actually doing and what the script is saying and telling the computer to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my kids like it. They're being challenged, which is great.
Yep.
Right now we're trying to make Pong because we're studying collisions in physics, so it makes sense to make a Pong game. But
Euler mechanics.
Yeah. That's kind of where I see the integration happening.
Well, as you describe it, there's a nexus between what you're doing with the program and then whatever concept you're trying to teach.
Yep.
I mean, it's obvious. So,
yeah.
I mean,
and we're not just doing it to do it, right? It's relevant.
How would you? Okay, so let's say you've got a kid that's low or whatever. How would you differentiate?
You don't, and that's why I'm doing this in physics and not in like an earth science class, because the kids in physics
is made
can
out
handle.
of.
Yeah.
Code
it.
Scratch blocks.
Code it.
Yeah.
Getting out of this garbage.
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
You could see some of my projects and remix them if you like. We made a racing game one time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have it? What's your?
It's scratch.mit.edu/users/kgrams.
Oh, you made it in Scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Save it for later, maybe.
Yeah.
Does it have this fox fella or kitty?
I think we drew our own cars. With
But
paint.
I digress. I think, like I said, lower elementary, mid-elementary teachers, I think benefited pretty well from this, and don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for this stuff, but to replace like reading and math and science, I really struggle with getting on board with.
How many books did this guy sell?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I want receipts.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
We need an accounting.
Yeah.
I demand an accounting.
Did you have to tweet before you were allowed to leave?
I
That's
did
my
not.
big question.
Oh, hey. Yeah, before we get into that, we got to keep the
God.
segment situation going a little bit longer.
That's right.
We got a quick video.
That's it.
It's another POW tune.
Ah, jeez. I gotta pee. Sorry.
All right, we'll let him pee.
Well, we can wait for you. We'll do something else
I'm
here.
not gonna let you get out of pouch. So grant money either comes. I mean, the grant has to come from somebody, right? So is that a federal grant? Is it a state grant? It's a
good question.
Is it a private industry grant, or is it a tax? Is it tax money? You know?
Yeah. That winds up in some coffer somewhere,
correct,
and then gets funneled out. Oh, but because it's a grant,
but it's called grant.
Yeah,
so then,
it's free money.
Therefore, exactly
to pay this guy who has no demonstrated programming experience,
no value,
who can drag and drop some blocks together, write books apparently, has a website that's laden with spyware, but let's pay him all this grant money.
Dude, that's my favorite part. His website is just so bad. It looks like the old when the internet first started, you know, and you'd be looking up something completely innocent and just a raunchy porn ad pop up just out of nowhere.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
like back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. We're just hiding.
I mean, wouldn't you want to see that stuff if you're going to pay this guy all this money to see if he can actually do what he's preaching?
I'd like to know how extensively he was vetted ahead of time.
And by whom?
And by whom?
For 2 seconds, you could have figured out that this guy didn't know how to program anything.
Well, and I'm pretty sure he showed up with the shit in his ears and slicked back hair and
looking. I mean,
like I'm wearing a T-shirt with a blazer over it, and tucked into my khakis or acid wash jeans or whatever he had on.
I wonder if he had a bus. I bet he's doing a bus tour.
Yeah, could be.
Jeez. We'll never know.
Yeah.
He's already left town. He wouldn't stay at the Esterville Hotel and Suites.
2 seconds. This dude was there for a couple days, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, a multi-day thing?
A multi-day.
The vetting of this guy.
Yeah.
The guy who has no demonstrated programming experience coming and teaching programming.
Well, I mean, his CV has a shop.
But he didn't teach programming. I mean, that's not... I don't think that's what...
He's teaching coding, right?
He's teaching integration.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a maker. Anytime somebody describes themselves as a maker, that makes me immediately suspect.
And they don't work in a factory? Literally make things?
A maker of what?
Yeah.
STEM junk to sell to high school and middle school.
STEM.
That's where the money is.
You're not wrong. There's a lot of crap.
Well, and I don't know why the hell we aren't hopping on the bandwagon.
Do you know what the grant was for? Or where the
no.
What grant?
Nope, I have no idea.
If it's because we were just talking is that tax money?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't
I doubt industry. I can't imagine industry unless giving that kind of grant money out unless it's for a tax benefit of sorts. But
I have no idea.
Some of this STEM crap, you wouldn't believe the stuff I've seen in some of these STEM days. And
oh yeah, there's conferences every week, and they try to get teachers to go. And
can you get paid to go to those?
Some robots.
I don't know. Probably some. But.
This crap. And then there's STEAM. Have you guys heard of STEAM?
The
Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Why don't we just call it school?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because we're still dissing on
the only thing you have
English.
left is history. Yeah, English and history.
PE. Would that fall under the? I mean, what constitutes arts? I guess for the purposes of STEAM, is it?
Music, drama.
Yeah, all right.
Band,
limited to
visual
like
arts.
the fine arts.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
not the liberal arts or.
That was the whole thing. Somebody tried to rope me into that when STEM was first kind of getting started at Iowa Lakes. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna put an A in here. Do you want to be on board?" I was like, yeah. Go start your own.
I vote nay to the A. Nay to the A. Alrighty.
Yeah. Anyway,
the name of this video is "Social Media Use in Education," and it's a POW tune. We'll start from the beginning.
Hashtag education.
Have you ever thought it would be great to use social media in learning and teaching?
Not once.
Why not?
For what purpose? I guess we're going to find out.
Let him make the case here. Create some opportunities. Too much hassle.
Anyone been looking at the chat?
No.
Yep. There's nobody.
Nothing. Ghost town.
Man.
We were hopping last week, and Adam's the big draw. He seems to bring in an audience.
He's got
a good voice.
Yeah. Too bad he lives in Chi-Town now.
Yeah.
$1 billion users.
Oh.
I heard Facebook was lame for the kids.
Yeah,
though.
nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah.
TikTok.
TikTok.
Gotta tick your talk.
Even Twitter's kind of fading.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Don't like hashtags.
Facebook's for old people like
Right.
us, so you know.
I remember thinking, like, I got really down on Facebook for a long time after it went out of only college kids.
Yeah.
Because I think it came out like my freshman year of college at
Yep.
our school.
Yep.
We got it, and then I came home one Christmas break or something, and
All
I
the
felt-
high schoolers.
Yeah, and I was just like, no,
it was
ruined.
It was cool. Yeah.
Ruined.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I resisted Facebook for quite a while.
You're in the hashtag resist moment.
And I got sucked in originally in like 2006, and I didn't add anybody. I just sat there.
Didn't
I
you-
only had like 40 friends.
Didn't you have a fake name for a while?
Well, that came later, yeah. So, and I was like, I was drunk one time, and I like was creeping some girl, and I sent her a message, all and then
sexy.
like yeah, and I'm like, I'm gonna get arrested or something. So I deleted my original Facebook. Then, like 3-4 whatever years later, Jimbo and I were messing around. Yeah, and then we created Gerald Greenberg, and I got on one of Jim's posts and was just like, "Give me my fucking money."
That's what it was.
Like poor Sherry was freaking out and stuff.
What kind of unsavory characters are you associating
I
with,
want my
Jimbo?
money. Like all caps, terrible grammar and everything. And I just kept it going, and I think I turned the account over to Kyle.
Kyle Anderson got it? Or
No, Kyle
Graham's
Graham's.
got it?
I don't know.
I remember you had a different like mugshot.
I did,
every
yeah.
day as your
Different
profile
mugshots,
picture.
and it's still floating around out there.
God, that's a great.
It needs
like,
revived. You
yeah.
need to
Facebook
troll
profile.
ECM with Gerald Greenberg.
Greenberg.
band. I'm a lifelong resident of Hipsterville.
So yeah, last time I was on the page, there's a picture of Hot Dog Man as my profile pic, which for those in the know is very politically incorrect in 2020.
Hot Dog Man.
Oh God. Hot Dog Man.
Well, we're halfway through this. We haven't said anything yet.
They're not really making an argument here. It just is giving us like,
a bunch of questions.
everybody's on Facebook at home, therefore.
Why don't we do it at school?
Yeah.
This is from 2014.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Wow.
It's way out of date. Doesn't it make sense to incorporate social media into learning and teaching?
No. She thinks so.
Here we go. Twitter.
Tube.
And Tube.
Don't put a red in front of that.
Flickr. I remember
Flickr, yeah.
Okay, here we go. So here's their case. Communicate ideas.
Talk to each other.
Add-
Just speak.
Add value.
But we could, like put the middleman in of a tweet and limit your ability to communicate by
Yeah.
140.
Hindering your social
characters.
skills
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah, and you can, it's faced in a screen. You don't
Yeah.
got to look at somebody in the eye and actually
Yep.
talk to them. And so, everyone knows that's the worst. Talking to people.
Yeah.
How lame.
Totally.
So
1990.
X, I guess, to the first idea.
No.
Add value to subjects.
Well, if you don't have value already in your subject, then that's the
We're
problem.
adding value by having emojis
Yeah, how can you add value?
and likes.
And cat gifts.
Yeah.
Well, even if you accept the premise that that's true, how much value are we adding to what's already there?
Has
by-
social media added to our value in general or removed from it? I don't know.
That's another good question.
Not at all.
I would say
It's a good point, Kevin.
society's probably worse off after having social media for what would like 15-ish years, maybe
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, about 15.
Yeah. So,
Entertainment, maybe.
Yep.
As far as following Trump on Twitter, that's good. That's
yeah.
gold.
Well, and watching train wrecks on Facebook. Man, a good public meltdown.
yeah, it's classic.
It is. It's hard to, I'll find myself thinking about it all of a sudden halfway through the day. Oh yeah, I saw that this morning. This is gonna get good.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
What do you guys think about social media addiction or just phone addiction, period? Like,
That's a real thing.
Do you think that's
Fantastic question.
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
And
I think phone addiction. I don't.
Well, maybe addiction's too strong of a word, perhaps.
Yeah,
but
reliance, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, use whatever adjective you want to, but like, you know, you hear that notification bell go off. Can you withstand? You know, I'll get to it when I get to it, or are you reaching for your phone right away and grabbing that thing?
I don't know, because it's so different. I don't know. It's strange. It's like if my phone is right here and it dings, I'll probably look at it. But if it's like across the room, it does. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. And
honestly, I don't remember the last time I had volume.
Yeah, that's another thing.
In terms of, you know, on text or.
Yep.
It's just not something I ever do. I got the watch now, so I glance at the watch quick. But
yep.
I mean, the kids.
Oh yeah,
when you go out to
in
even
school,
when you,
it's amazing.
Well,
yeah,
and even when they go out, you go out to eat. You do anything.
Yep.
Kiddo's got an iPad.
Yep.
Or a phone to shut
They're
them
all
up.
gizmo and
that's something we actively resist. Like giving Lily an iPad to shut her up is something we will never succumb
give her
to.
some colors.
Good.
You know, or
work on those motor skills a little bit here in these developmental years.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think they're doing when they're playing Flappy Bird?
Right.
Yeah.
My cousin's kid is, I guess, now 8 or something, but he was exposed to tablets and crap from day one. And he was looking at a magazine one time, and there was a picture on it, and he was trying to zoom in on the magazine.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We, like, I don't know. If we're trying to burp Hudson, we'll watch, like, Old MacDonald Had a Farm or something on YouTube. But other than that, we don't even have an iPad or anything like that. So, it's just, I mean, it's different being in the school system and seeing actual addiction to this stuff.
Yeah.
I would consider students and kids
like they getting anxious when they don't have it, and like super anxiety that they're missing out.
And just, I mean, even if, and I don't do this because I don't want to put up the fight, but even if you have like an old school teacher who tells you to hand over your phone because you're messing with it too much, I mean, it's World War II.
Yeah.
Are there teachers who just have like a box and say, you walk in my room, you can't have your phone?
Really?
No, not that I know of.
See, that surprises me.
And different teachers have different, are more lax on them than others. They have different rules, but I don't think anybody says absolutely no cell phones because it's impossible to fight it,
Right.
and we don't have enough time to do it.
Well, if you just make the policy, you turn it in when you come into the classroom. How is that a fight?
They won't do it. They'll keep it in their pocket, or
Well,
they'll
then
say,
you
"I
get
don't have
kicked out
it."
of class.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Ban 'em.
You're going to kick out half
Because
your class.
when we were there, I only remember there was just a handful of kids who actually had their own phones. Like I borrowed my parents when I was in high school and went to a basketball game and needed to ride home or something.
Yeah.
But I remember Cole Beardsley had one.
Oh yeah.
And it was like this huge deal that he had a cell phone in school, and the policy was blanket, like no cell phones in school. If you use it, you can only be during lunch.
Yep.
Or before or after.
Yep.
No,
yeah, they were hardcore back in the day, man.
Go ahead.
It's just too much of a battle to really make it worth our while, because
Is it 100% of the kids? No?
I would say 98% of the kids have a phone.
Damn.
And it's to the kids' credit, though, it isn't, especially in my case, when I'm teaching, actively lecturing and teaching, they do a pretty good job of staying off of it. I think it's more of a comfort thing, though, just to know that they have it there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a teddy bear, when you're a baby, to have that teddy bear there, just for comfort. So, but you give them a little bit of leeway. You have 5 minutes or so that you finish up early at the end of the class. It's automatically out.
They're
on,
whipping them
on
out. It's
Snapchat
like
or whatever.
Extension of their body.
Yep.
How many times do you guys think you look at your phone
Too
throughout the
many.
course of the day?
Too much, and I got to do a better job at that.
And if you were exposed to the real number, would you be surprised
Yes.
at how much or how often you looked at
I
it?
bet I am in the several hundreds.
Yeah.
I get screen time reports every week, I think, and I don't really care because I don't look at it that much. I think we're all in an interesting position in this room because we grew up during a time when this stuff wasn't as pervasive as it is now. And so we knew what it was like to not have a cell phone attached to you at all times, and kids today don't.
True.
So it's kind of a different generation, if you want to put it that way, but I think it's easier for us to, I guess, resist the addiction than for kids.
Is it also easier for us, though, as well, to kind of have the get off my lawn approach to it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean...
But, has it really... What I'd be interested more was how has it affected the kids' social skills?
Yeah.
Like at lunch, do they all just sit at a table?
They don't.
Everyone plays with their own phone, or do they actually socialize?
They
and
do.
chat
That's fun to see too. The kids that do stay at the school and eat lunch, they do. I mean, they all sit together at a table. They have their phones out, just like we do when we're talking to each other. But they do communicate with each other, which is good to see. And our principal does a really good job communicating with staff too, that if there's time in study hall or whatever, at the end of the day we have 8th period study hall, your room really shouldn't be completely silent. We want kids talking to each other now and not just sitting on their phones. And
no, Mr. Westrian study hall.
Okay, people. But you didn't have phones back then either, so it's it has changed.
We couldn't even work on group projects.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there? And I totally agree with that philosophy too.
Yeah.
When it's time to work, I want it quiet. But if you have 15 minutes or something at the end of the day, I don't want kids sitting on their phone playing Clash of Clans. I want them talking to each other. So.
Ooh, they like clashing?
Yeah, they like Clash is kind of coming back. So.
I never left.
No, I want to observe that a little bit more too next week. You kind of sparked my interest.
Yeah, because I mean, are their social skills being detrimentally affected?
It could be that it is worse, but if it's like gradually getting worse over time,
True.
You might not notice. Assist collaboration on projects. Find up-to-date information.
That is probably true. Maybe.
Communicate with people all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. If I want to find a fact, I'm not going to look up in the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Anymore, I'm going to Google it.
If I want news, I don't go to CNN. I go to Twitter.
Yeah.
See what's trending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing that grinds my gears is the total bashing and the total... what's
Wikipedia?
the word? Yeah.
Yeah.
The total exile, I guess, of using Wikipedia.
Anyone can edit it though.
Yeah.
Anyone can edit it, so it's all false.
Not true. That drives me nuts.
I think that's more people our age still though. I feel like.
Well, I ran into that a lot in college because
at
the undergrad level, if you cited Wikipedia for something in like a research paper,
you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're stupid. And,
it's just these people that work for like libraries and that write the papers. It's just them wanting people to read their stuff.
I love it.
It's a conspiracy, yeah, and use their resources.
It's like professors who make the students use their own books that they write.
I mean, like, so is that like deep ed? Like we got
deep ed. Deep ed. Yes.
You got the cabal of people who never
never
leave, no matter who's in charge.
Yeah, I am totally okay with Wikipedia.
My professors encouraged it.
Yeah.
Computer science. Oh, look at that. We checked them all.
Yep.
I love. Oh, there's more.
There is more. Make learning interesting and engaging.
If you can't make your stuff interesting and engaging without Twitter, then
finally.
But you shouldn't have to either. I mean, school isn't supposed to be fun 100% of the time. That's not the goal of school. Good teachers, some of my best teachers, the class I thought was boring. If that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but
who you talking about, Fandel?
Yeah, Fandel was a good teacher.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
And
super
so is
boring.
Mrs. Finley. I mean,
Finley, I never got bored in.
Yeah, well,
yeah. I had Brett Rutherford there,
but
I'm turning off the volume.
There's a...
Keep it moving.
I don't know. There's a case being made that if you teach, kids learn.
Social media is not creative. I mean, it can be witty.
Okay, we're finally answering the question.
Yep.
With, like 30 seconds left to
Yep.
go.
Follow people on Twitter related to content studying.
Here's your big points. This is your finale.
Other classrooms in Australia or around the world.
Let's try
where this was made.
Let's set up a paradigm where you can't leave school
until you tweet
unless you tweet it.
I love it.
Just tweet it.
Otherwise, you're fired.
Hashtag bell wrong.
You can't leave unless you tweet it. Just tweet it.
For example, wait, what is that?
For example, scientists.
Tweet people for example scientists. What does that even mean? For example, tweet people, comma. For example, yeah, okay.
Scientists, yeah, for example, science, yeah.
Jeez.
Today, area study. Okay, so you can just read a magazine.
But you can't zoom in on the pictures in the magazine. Use Skype to bring excursions.
So here's something kind of sad. I made a mistake in the real world one time. Like I made a spelling error in a piece of paper, and I thought, I can just Control-Z that. Oh no! And I knew I've gone too far.
Interactive lessons using Twitter or Google Earth.
You need to integrate directly with the keyboard.
Are there any? Oh man!
Oh, did you want to see?
Yeah,
something?
I wanted to see if there are any comments. Like,
yeah, we can go back.
Oh,
no problemo.
There's some thumbs downs I see.
Yeah, what's the ratio? Yeah, it's bad. Quite a few views.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please talk to me on WhatsApp.
Okay, so that's it.
Oh man, let's get that person on WhatsApp. See what's going on.
Well, living in society.
How do these? They just.
Do we want to do white men disproportionately contribute to class? Where does this fit, Vin?
Not really. Anyway. Okay. You guys might enjoy the pomegranates.
Okay.
You don't want the sound for this one.
Oh my God. I hate it already.
Look at this lady.
I think I
Set me
I've
up
seen
here.
this.
What is this?
I have no idea.
All right.
No pomegranates.
She's pissed.
Is this at a is this a teacher or something?
It's like a teacher, yeah.
She's melting down.
I'm backing it up.
I don't want them anywhere near here.
This kid doesn't seem to be too
not phased.
Not phased.
This is like a daily thing, I think.
First it's pears, now it's pomegranate.
It's always something.
Peaches.
Say the rule again. No pomegranates. Say it.
There, she's cringing a little.
What did she say there at the very
right at the end?
No, not quite. She whispers something before this part.
Okay.
Say it again.
Say it.
No, before that.
I'll marry you.
No pomegranates. Say it.
Thank you.
No pomegranates.
I wonder what the context is.
714,000.
Because it's like if she's trying to include that in a lesson or something, I'd freaking take her class. That's awesome.
Here's a comment that claims to know the answer. I actually researched the reason why she doesn't like pomegranates, and the actual lesson is very interesting. She's not going on a rant about a classroom rule forbidding pomegranates, but actually is teaching the students in a psychology class on negative reinforcement and over-the-top antics. But the majority of us may choose and want to believe that she's a crazy teacher that just really doesn't effing like pomegranates.
That's awesome.
Regardless. It's
Yeah.
still funny.
Yeah. Kudos to her.
That was funny.
It takes a lot of energy. For sure.
Is your fan on? That's what it reminded me of.
I had flashbacks the other day to cleaning that grate above the fan.
Oh, yeah.
Corn popper with a
Get out
toothbrush.
the toothbrush!
Yeah, video's dead now, boys.
Yeah, official.
Bummer.
Officially
It's
gone.
official.
Rip.
No video! No video!
Has anyone reached out to Burton to let him know?
I don't know.
That's probably the best decision he's ever made, was not
swooping in and
place. Yeah,
I'm gonna swoop in and create the Chris Burton video
I
exchange.
think he wanted to run it. Yeah.
Oh man.
He had a laundry list of improvements that he was going to make around there, because there was all sorts of.
Yeah.
They were missing out on a major untapped market.
Tons of revenue.
Yeah, I don't know. It was hard to figure. This one's a good one. I think we can laugh at this. This is called Math is Racist.
Oh God!
Remember this
is that
lady?
The same lady.
This is so. Look how much worse she looks, and it's only been like the videos were like a year apart.
Hey, saving the world will do that to you.
Shocking.
May want to rethink that catchphrase, because apparently math is racist. Seattle's public schools are considering a proposal that would mix social justice in with math, including studying how math has been appropriated by Western culture and that math itself is racist. Ann DeLezio Parson is a sociologist and educator who agrees with them.
Trump supporter, conservative, Christian, straight.
Yeah,
probably.
Check all those boxes.
Well, did you see the
meat eater?
The meat video with her, Vin? Or
I did not.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got to watch
That's a good one too.
last episode. Yeah, she argued meat is what? What was her position? Meat was
racist.
Sexist or something?
I thought it was. Shoot, I don't even
know. No, meat and toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Was the host eating a steak? During
Yeah,
that?
yep.
I saw that. Yeah.
It was great trolling.
Premise of the proposal, and joins me now. All right, so Ann, let me just see where I'm confused, so you understand what's going on.
Please don't refer to me by Ann. I appreciate it.
Okay, I apologize, Doctor.
Jesus.
Thank you.
Tell me why.
She's got to be a troll.
Yeah.
You think so? Adam found her on Rate My Professors.
Really?
Yep. That would be some pretty deep trolling if she had a Rate My Professor thing. Could be. I'm not saying it isn't possible.
Liberal sociologist, you could just say sociologist.
Yes. So,
Yeah, she looks like she's aged like 20 years.
Yeah, like that steak video, I think it was from like 2015 or something,
Yeah.
and this is last fall.
Can we stop starting sentences with so?
critical race theory is a framework for understanding the world that helps us understand that this entire country is racist, right? We have a white
Not
supremacist
right. Not right. That also annoys me.
Right?
racial caste system.
Racial
So
caste
blah blah
system.
blah blah blah. Right?
System in the United States.
Wait,
That's what our country
can you
was
just
founded
stop for
on,
one second?
right?
Are you saying that all
Right?
white people
Racial caste system.
in America are racist?
Yeah, I am too. Sometimes it happens. We were socialized, right? The process of socialization and learning about social
Is she
norms.
white? She doesn't look white to me.
I don't know.
Racist.
Something in her.
You're a racist.
Occasionally, it happens. I usually apologize it when I realize it.
How are you a racist? What do you think
let me
makes you
think of-
superior?
Jesse, that question doesn't make sense.
Well, isn't racism the belief that one race is inherently superior than another race, and then you discriminate against other races?
That is a piece of racism, but you gave the definition that's really old. And language.
Ageist.
Yeah. I think the neo-racism is like they incorporate a system of power into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prejudice plus power. So
Yeah.
you have to be of higher power than the person that you're
So any
prejudiced against.
Any CEO is racist inherently if it has to do with power.
Only if they're white.
Only if they're white. No.
Language evolves over time, and race and white supremacy. What are race and white supremacy today?
Yeah, okay.
They are structures that affect us all. So people do things that are racist all the time, myself included, because we don't realize
the
that's
time.
happening. Like
So, like microaggressions. Sorry.
Yeah, that's another one that I don't really understand very well.
Okay, explain how math is racist. I still haven't really understood the premise from you.
Well, the first premise, the first starting point that we have to get on the same page on is that we live in a white supremacist racial caste system.
Okay, I'm not willing
on
to
the same page about
agree with that. No, I disagree with that. But it just
Conversation over.
Yeah.
explain, because we're running out of time, Doctor. How is 2 + 2 = 4? How does that discriminate against black people or brown people?
1 stick + 2 stick. Humans were like, hey, here's a stick, here's another. I just did some math. That was not racist. We're on the same page with that?
Okay.
1 + 1 = 2?
Yes.
Okay. Humans have then used math and numbers and statistics in all sorts of ways, from counting black and brown bodies as they made them property and brought them over to these lands.
But what does that have to do with the actual math?
Arithmetic.
That's, people...
You can use math to be racist.
I guess,
oh
but
my God.
I don't think you can say math
But the communicable
itself
property.
Yeah.
God.
It's just calculus.
Lands to much more recently, scholars who said that white people were more intelligent than people of color. That's called scientific racism, the use of statistics and
So her real position is a lot more nuanced than this. That's the difference.
That's Fox being
So
ridiculous.
yeah, I guess that's really not what she's arguing, that math is intrinsically racist, right? Okay.
How can something abstract, I don't know.
tools to construct the idea. It's like something deep in our brains. It's hard to recognize, and that's why it requires time, Jesse. I asked your question,
Well, just
and it
because
took me
people
more than
counted
3 years to get here.
with slavery, does it make counting racist? You understand? Something can be related to each other, but not a causation. You understand what I mean?
Do you understand what statistics is?
I think I do. I'm not understanding, though, if you understand. That's the point. Doctor, I have to run.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe this actually took up airtime.
Yeah,
on Fox News.
seriously.
It's Waters World. He gets like an hour on Sundays.
Yeah.
This is why I like long format shows like Project Ion podcast.
That's right.
And the Joe Rogan show.
We
If I
actually
can
have
loop us.
time to flesh out the
together.
ideas, right? But
Yes.
lay it all on the table.
Yep.
Get an idea what somebody's thinking, rather than try to fit everything on a little, just the bottom third thing
blurb.
here, a blurb. Exactly.
Got to get your blurb.
Kind of like the debates for that, man.
Yeah. Well, how are we doing on time here, boys? You
Yeah,
want to wrap her up, or
About 2 hours.
Okay.
Wow. Lots to say.
Yep.
Yeah, that was... I never leave here happy.
I leave here feeling cleansed.
I just... I
That's
get
the point
mad.
of the project.
To
Get it off the
confession.
Get it all off
But
the chest.
everybody, you guys all get stuff that just makes me mad because it actually exists. Like, why math is racist. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Let it calm you.
Stop.
You do need to watch so you can see the banner for this one.
Is it me?
No.
It's the collaboration education segment situation.
It's a collaboration education segment situation.